In the quest for freedom and redemption, 19 years ago, Andy fell from his shiny banker life to become a street prisoner. Heartbroken by his wife's betrayal, Andy couldn't resist going on a little detective adventure. Spotting his wife playing games with another man at a nearby house, Andy sat in his car, assembling his very own military aircraft. Time's up, he intended a one-way trip for them, but at the critical moment, reason intervened and bullets flew everywhere. He tossed the gun into the river, not realizing this move would leave him without proof, truly a move of a brilliant fool. When he stumbled upon that double trouble scene, all the evidence pointed right back at him. With the key evidence missing, Andy became a scapegoat, walking into Shawshank prison looking like a deer caught in headlights. Upon entering prison, Andy became the hot topic of conversation among inmates, and Red and friends debated who could handle life's bitterness better. In Red's eyes, those ritzy rich folk surely wouldn't survive a night in the dark side. Ironically, prison not only hands out lengthy sentences, but also administers some soul-searching by the warden. The warden, a self-proclaimed god, seeks to rule over the fates of the inmates like a divine puppet master. In front of him, the dignity of inmates is trampled, and while most newcomers break down, Andy quietly endures. Remaining silent, Andy uses his wisdom and composure to observe his surroundings and adapt to this new life. Red couldn't help but tease that just yesterday, it was a cute little chubby guy who fell apart, instantly enticing the transaction-oriented veterans. Crying for mommy, the chubby guy broke down, while Andy remained strangely calm, piquing Red's curiosity. A week later, Andy took the initiative to approach Red, discovering he was the big player in the prison. Andy found prison life too dull and requested a tipsy edition carving tool. He promised to dodge the daily inspections, and Red decided to befriend Andy, happily procuring the carving tool. Upon seeing the rock hammer's shape, Red realized his thoughts were too naive. Escaping with this little rock hammer would take centuries. Andy successfully got the little hammer, and under the scrutiny of sisterhood, his time in captivity turned tense. Andy urgently needed to find a reliable exit, but everything resembled the pressed villagers at this point. Finally, Andy caught a break. The warden needed a crew for roof repairs, and Andy found a moment of fleeting peace. While working, Andy overheard the guards discussing the tax troubles. Andy keenly sensed an opportunity. Boldly, he approached the guard commander. He asked the commander if there were training opportunities available, causing the guard to grow uneasy. Andy's life hung by a thread, yet he offered the guard the top-notch tax loophole. If the warden wanted to keep the $35,000, all he had to do was gift it to his wife to dodge taxes. Andy scoffed, implying that if the warden sought guidance from any authority, it would soon become clear. The trick was to complete the paperwork, and most folks would hire a lawyer to do it. Andy was a pro. He volunteered his services for free, asking only for the guards to buy him a drink. The captain of the guards ultimately trusted Andy and decided to invite all the inmates for a hearty drink. Although Andy was a teetotaler, seeing everyone enjoy the drinks brought a satisfied smile to his face. At least in that moment, everyone felt free, and Red couldn't help but hold Andy in high regard, captivated by his charm. During a film screening, Andy asked Red to help him snag a poster of the leading lady. Suddenly, Red had a lightbulb moment. Just as Andy thought he could relax, he found himself ambushed by the sister. After a brawl, Andy ended up in the infirmary for a month's recovery. The head of the sisterhood paid a heavy price, and the guard made a painful decision to maintain his reputation. Upon his release from the infirmary, his buddies gifted him a bag of sculpting stones to show their care. Among them was a special gift, the poster of the movie leading lady, courtesy of Red. But not long after, a surprise inspection swept through, and Andy's room was turned upside down. His little rock hammer, used for carving, was put under scrutiny. The warden even seized the Bible from Andy to flex his authority. He didn't open the Bible. Instead, he recited parts of it on the spot, attempting to showcase his intellectual prowess. Naturally, Andy wasn't one to back down, so he recited his favorite passage. The warden seemed quite pleased. In fact, he had learned about Andy's special skills through the guards. To streamline Andy's work, he appointed him as a librarian, teaming him up with all books. Andy gladly accepted the arrangement, but requested a small favor to expand the prison library. The warden naturally didn't refuse, promising that as long as Andy wrote a request, he'd help send it out. Andy religiously wrote letters every week asking for funds, and his efforts thrived like a wildfire. All Brooks, however, remained indifferent, just wanting to stay in prison, a perplexity for Andy.